All right, folks, this video is a follow-up to the last one, which you'll see before. Last week, I talked to people about closing that gap between their vision boards, like the life they really want to live and the life they are living. And I gave some techniques, or I gave some advice rather, on how you give yourself permission to actually live the life that you want to live. And some of the advice I gave was to get around people who are doing the thing that you want to do and to hire coaches and consultants. And I got a lot of feedback this week from folks who are like, I just don't have that. I don't know where to find people doing what I want to do. And I'm sorry, I'm just at rock bottom financially, so I can't afford to hire anybody. Okay, I totally get it. I remember being there myself. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how you give yourself permission when you are completely solo. When it's just you against the world and man, you reach into your pockets and you don't have any money. In it, I'm going to share one of my early coaching stories from one of my favorite coaching clients on how she made a big breakthrough. And I'm going to give you my two most powerful solo techniques, things I've used to build Uncivlized into a 7-figure business, to write 2 books, to lead workshops all over the world, and to live the life that I truly want to live. Like I am living my vision board. And I'm going to give you the techniques that I still use today, even though I'm doing that. And no, they're not bullshit. No, they're not fantastical. You can start them immediately. If you're new to the channel and you don't know who I am, my name is Traver Boehm. I'm the founder of the Uncivilized Men's Movement, author of the books Man UNcivlized and Today I Rise, 3rd book coming out soon on my month in the darkness. And I also have been coaching people for over 20 years now. I've coached Fortune 500 executives. I've coached elite military. I even coached a guy who was in prison for life with no chance of parole. I've coached kids. I've coached women. You name it, I've coached humans. I understand us. I know how we tick. And I give grounded, real-world advice on how you can live the life that you want to live. All right, without further ado, let's talk about permission and how you close that gap from your vision board and the life that you're living now. All right, let's get back into it. This week, we're working with permission again. And last week, I made a recording talking about some of the ways that you can close that gap between your vision board and the life that you want to live, which usually means that you need permission, you need skill, and you need access. And a number of you reached out to me this week and said, hey, man, the tip and advice you gave last week around getting around people who are doing the thing that you want to do is really hard for me. Like I don't have people around me who are doing the thing that I want to do, or I can't afford to hire the coach. I can't afford to take the class. Like I'm stuck financially. So now how do I give myself permission given those constraints? And totally get it. I remember when I was first starting, I didn't know anybody doing this work. I didn't know where to find people doing this work, and I definitely couldn't afford any help. I'm going to share with you a story from my early coaching days. I was working with a woman. This is when I owned a gym, but I was also doing not just physical coaching. I was also doing lifestyle coaching at the same time. And I had this client who multiple times a year would have to take a work trip to China. This was in California. And multiple times a year on that work trip to China, she would end up drinking a lot and eating a lot because that was the culture of her company. And she had come to me to work on weight loss. So she said she'd lose weight, she'd get in shape, boom, go to China for a couple of weeks, come back heavy, come back unmotivated, and feel like she had to start all over again. And this cycle just wasn't working. So I was like, all right, here's the deal. When do you go to China next? She's like, I got a China trip coming up in 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, here's what you're going to do. When you get to China, you're going to take out a Post-it note or 3, and you're going to write on it, China won't beat me. And I'm going to swear on this one. I know I've gotten some heat for using the F word, but I'm fucking awesome. And like, I don't want to start over and I won't start over. Like some motivational message. And I told her, I want you to make those your own. So don't use mine. But, and when you get there, I want a photo of these up in your bathroom. So every time you use the toilet, every time you put your makeup on in the morning, every time you get out of the shower, you see these messages to yourself. And what I have here, for those of you watching this on YouTube, if you're not watching it on YouTube, go check out our YouTube channel. I have a framed picture. Oops, is that upside down? There we go. A framed picture of the Post-it note, the original Post-it note that says, I am fucking awesome. So not only did I get a picture from her, but she actually brought the note home, and it was so impactful to me as an early coach. This was almost 20 years ago that I framed it. Now, what happened to her on that trip? She didn't drink. She didn't eat unhealthy foods. She stayed at the weight and actually lost weight there because she continued to exercise. So when she came home, she had all of this momentum to keep her going. She broke the cycle of demotivation, of putting on weight, of drinking too much, of feeling like shit, etc. Now, what were those Post-it notes? If we break it down, if I look at it now, those Post-it notes were for her were permission. Permission not to drink. She wasn't forced to drink. No company's going to put a gun to your head and make you drink. She wasn't forced to eat shitty food. She wasn't forced to not work out. She wasn't forced to keep horrible hours there. On some level, she was choosing it. So these notes were permission for her to live a different way and try out something new. So if you're listening to this or watching this and you're like, can't find people who are doing the thing that I want to do, right? If you want, go back and listen to the episode or watch the episode where I outline this. One, look on the internet, because there's a whole bunch of communities on the internet of people, I guarantee you, doing exactly what you want to do. So look a little harder. Two, if you don't have money and you're not hiring one of our coaches or hiring me or hiring a coach or a consultant, I get it. And if you're still lacking that permission, I would have Post-it notes all over my house. I did this for years when I was first getting started. And those Post-it notes, you can literally write permission. You have my permission to start the business, start the blog, write the book, ask the girl out, ask the guy out, lose the weight, start the class, do the thing, whatever it is, move countries, blah, 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 whatever it is that you want to do. And I would put a note in my wallet. I would put a note in my car. I would put a note on my bathroom mirror. I would put a note on the ceiling for when I wake up in the morning. Folks, there's a reason why Uncivilized Ethos Tenet, I think it's number 9, says the rule is there are no rules. There's nothing saying that you can't grant yourself the permission that you're waiting for and so desperately seeking from somebody else. Right? If me telling you last week you have my permission wasn't enough, and it sounds like it because a number of you reached out, then give it to yourself. That's step 1. Step 2, those of you who know me, again, I'm going to show this on YouTube if you can see this. I have, you guys see that? Hundreds and hundreds of voice notes. I'm showing my phone and the collection of voice notes that I have saved. I am a voice note whore. I record a voice note like 3 or 4 times a week, you guys. And in it, I give myself permission. I tell myself I'm kicking ass. I highlight the things that are going well. I give myself a little motivational pep talk. And I listen to those every day when I walk Sage, my dog. Every day I listen to my own voice in my own ear telling me that I can do the things that I want to do. That is a continual permission. I've been doing this for 10 years now. Now, is it as important now when Uncivilized has grown to the point that it has? Is it as important now when I'm actually living out my own vision board? Perhaps not. But in the early days, you guys, voice notes and Post-it notes, like that's what got me through. There were days when I was like, I got no money. I'm out of motivation. I'm tired of working until 2 a.m. I'm tired of working 2 jobs to try to get this thing off the ground. It's not working. I threw a workshop, but nobody came. I gave a talk. Nobody hired me, blah, blah, blah. Like all those times, I could then wake up and listen to me saying, hey, man, this is going to work out. It may not be working out right now, but it's going to work out someday. And you know, it's crazy, you guys. You want to hear something crazy? I have a voice note from like 6 years ago talking about the nation. The uncivilized nation is going to be a thing. We're going to have t-shirts with our logo on. Look what I'm wearing right now if you're watching this on YouTube, right? We have a whole swag line. We're going to have people working for us. We're going to have coaches. I'm going to drive a G-Wagon. I just sold it, heartbreakingly. I'm going to be living half the year in Costa Rica and surfing. I'm going to have books that are published. I'm going to be giving talks all over the world. It's freaky how much of that stuff has come true. Now, yes, I still had to get my butt in the seats. I still had to do the work. I still had to write the books. I still had to rehearse for the talks. I still had to do the work. But man, were those early voice notes incredible permission for me to get up and try again when I failed over and over and over and over again. And I was running out of faith. They were just like a little pat on the butt from the universe, or actually from me. So these are my two best tools for if you don't have access to a community and you can't hire a professional, you can become the professional. You can write the Post-it notes. You can create the voice notes. You can record them. You can do whatever it else is that you need to do to get really creative to give yourself permission. I've done so much wacky shit over the years, right? If you talk to my roommate, I had a roommate 6 years ago when I lived in Golden. This guy thought I was nuts, right? He worked for an outdoor sporting company. I worked for myself. Uncivilized was like a gleam in my eye. It was just a baby. I had the entire downstairs of this house to myself, and there wasn't an inch that was left uncovered by some uncivilized branding or a big piece of poster note where I had written out our products, our goals, our vision, our mission, my hopes, drawn like hand-drawn pictures of me talking to crowds of men, right? There's no fucking rules. No one said you can't do that. And if you ask me now, why is Uncivilized what it is today? I will tell you it's because of those early days when I had zero fucks. Where I was like, yep, everybody who walks through this room can make fun of me because there's a hand-drawn drawing on the wall, and I'm clearly not an artist. Yep, people can make fun of me if they ever find my phone and find 200 voice notes of me being like, it's okay, you're still doing great. I know yesterday was hard, but you're going to get through it, right? People can say whatever they want because I have the business now. I have the movement now. I have the books now. I have the talks now. I have the sold-out workshops now. So say whatever you want. But folks, if you're not willing to take the risk of putting a note in your bathroom, I'm sorry, you don't want this bad enough. If you're not willing to record your own voice telling you that you can fucking do it, you don't want this bad enough. It's going to be the voice of reason now. And the reason you need to do all of this stuff and the reason you need to give yourself permission is because this game is brutal. I was on the phone a week ago with a coaching client who was like, man, I don't feel good in the mornings. I may fail. I don't know if people are going to like my stuff. And I was like, welcome to the game. Welcome to the game of doing something unconventional. Welcome to the game of not just working for a company, having stuff handed to you, which there's nothing wrong with. But you now are going to take a risk every time you put something out there, every time you post, every time you publish a podcast, every time you put a video out, every time you ask for people's business, you are taking a risk and you will get crushed over and over and over and over again. And I'm not saying that to dishearten you. I'm saying that so you go, yep, welcome to the game. I have failed thousands and thousands of times, embarrassingly so. I have launched workshops, as I said, nobody came to. Had products, had to pull them down a week later. I've done so much dumb shit because I just didn't know. But I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, right? So I know I have been tapped 10,000 times in my jiu-jitsu career, and I'm still in the game. And guess what? I'm getting better because I'm still in the game. And I'm going to get tapped 10,000 more times before I get to the goal that I have. And I've fully absorbed and swallowed and acknowledged that this is the game. And so when I get tapped, I'm like, cool, part of the game. Let's go again. Right? Have someone sign up for a workshop and the week before back out and want a refund. Okay, part of the game. Throw a post up on Instagram, have people tell me they hate me and I'm the worst writer that's ever written. Okay, part of the game. And if the game gets too big, the game gets too heavy, I got voice notes and I got Post-it notes. So again, this is me giving you permission. You are free to live the life you want to live. And yes, you're going to piss some people off for doing so. Good. Piss them all off. It's your life. At the end of the day, you're the only one who has to look in the mirror and go, I'm in integrity, I'm in an alignment, and I'm living the life that I want to live. All right. I hope this was helpful. Again, if you want to work with me or any of our coaches or to meet us live, go check out manuncivilizedscom/events. I have an amazing nice guy workshop coming up in September called Kill the Nice Guy. It's live, it's in person, and it is 75% off my normal workshop fee because I know times are tough and I want to pack that room. So go check that one out as well. It's at manuncivilized.com/events. Or just email me, Traver, Traver, at manuncivilized.com. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Go have a kick-ass day.